Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise for the processional and remain standing for the national anthem? Please rise. Good afternoon. For the 391st time, the Pennsylvania State University conducts commencement exercises. All are in their places. While the day is one of joy and celebration, the commencement ceremony itself calls for dignity and decorum. This is one of the great days of a lifetime for our graduates, their families, and friends. Therefore, we request everyone's cooperation in according this ceremony the quiet respect it deserves. These exercises for the 2019 spring semester are hereby called to order.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. I am Eric Barron, President of the Pennsylvania State University, and I join in welcoming you to our commencement ceremony today. We shall open with a national anthem led by Ms. Kaylee Harmon of the School of Music, accompanied by Center Brass. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the university, I welcome each of you to this occasion. This ceremony is patterned after a ritual which has been repeated through the long history of higher education and duplicated around the world wherever there are universities and colleges. The robes we wear and the symbols of the ceremony are from the Middle Ages. The mace is a symbol of the authority of the university, but the spirit of commencement is modern, is always new, and is always focused on the future. It is now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Craig Newshafer, who joined Penn State as Dean of the College of Health and Human Development on January 1st of this year. Dean Newshafer is an epidemiologist with a primary research focus on the discovery of modifiable autism risk factors. He has been the principal or co-author investigator on more than 50 funded research studies, and his work has been published in more than 100 peer-reviewed journal articles. He has also served on the editorial boards of several academic journals and is currently associate editor of the journal Autism Research. Before joining Penn State, Dr. Newshafer served as the Associate Dean for Research in the Dornsife School of Public Health at Drexel University. He also has held teaching and research positions at Johns Hopkins, St. Louis University, and Thomas Jefferson University. He is a fellow of the American College of Epidemiology and a member of the leadership team for the Philadelphia Autism Project. He has also served on the Department of Defense's Autism Research Program Integration Panel, the Autism Speaks Scientific Advisory Committee, and other organizations dedicated to enriching the lives of others through science and service. Dean Newshafer earned his bachelor's degrees in public relations and biology from Boston University, a master's degree in health policy and management from Harvard School of Public Health, and a doctorate in chronic disease epidemiology from the Bloomberg School of Public Health at Johns Hopkins University. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Craig Newshafer.
Thank you, President Barron. Graduates, if you think about how you landed in the seat you're sitting in tonight, you'll all probably come up with more than a few contributing causes. Maybe an undergrad mentor urged you to come study with your current advisor. Maybe like you, your mother before you chose to be an agronomist. Maybe like you, your mother before you was also an agronomist who went to Penn State University. But no doubt, there were a host of other more random factors at work that brought you here today. Maybe you learned about the field of biobehavioral health only because you dated somebody for a minute whose best friend knew a guy who was doing a nerd night at the local pub on circadian rhythms. Maybe you were turned down by that silly West Coast graduate program for mysterious reasons. That was their loss. The point is that chance plays a huge role in our lives and in the world. My message to you tonight is going to be, first, embrace and enjoy the randomness around us, and second, understand and don't underestimate the power of chance. Embracing chance is something that I hope is easy. After all, some of the greatest joys you will experience are largely shaped by happenstance. The big joys. If you choose to become a parent, the union of that particular sperm, that particular egg, will be very much defined by chance. But life's little joys, too, are often also shaped by chance. Look, I've been fortunate enough to visit the Colosseum in Rome, the Great Wall of China, and I pretty much got what I expected, which was awesome. But my favorite travel memory of all was pulling off the highway at a rest stop in Louisiana, looking to my left, and seeing a guy step off a bus in full Elvis costume. I'm talking Vegas Elvis with the cape, the whole thing. Then that guy was followed by another guy, also dressed like Elvis, the young rockabilly Elvis, only to be followed by another Elvis and another Elvis and another Elvis. By the way, all these Elvi, they were maybe 40 of them altogether, they were speaking French. So I have no idea what brought them there, but what brought me there with them was pure chance. So random events can be inspiring as well as memorable. My guess is that the creatives out there, that you're comfortable with this. One of my favorite books, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, was apparently inspired after the author, Michael Chabon, happened across an old box of his childhood comics while he was helping his parents move out of his childhood home. Edvard Munch's masterpiece, The Scream, which according to some is the second most recognizable work of art in the world, was inspired because Munch chose to take a stroll one Oslo evening with a particularly reddish sunset featuring extremely rare nacreous clouds. Merce Cunningham and John Cage took chance as inspiration for art to the extreme. At times, they used dice and other random number generators to dictate their choreography and their composition. So I say to you, embrace uncertainty. If you're open to it, it will both inspire you and bring you joy. But as you heard, I'm a scientist, just as some of you out there are. And I believe one of the most serious responsibilities a scientist has is to understand and account for the impact of chance in the events that we carefully observe. This impact can be profound, and it turns out it can be harder than you might think to stay attuned to it. All of us, scientists and non-scientists alike, can benefit from striving to understand better the impact that randomness and uncertainty can have in our work and our lives. Here's one example. Now you heard that I do research on autism. One of the areas of great activity in this field is leveraging biomarkers to create new diagnostic tests that can be deployed before symptoms emerge. But as we do this work, we know that any new test we develop won't be perfect. In other words, there'll be uncertainty in that result. So we collect data along the way on test performance to try to understand this. So let's say such data show that when a tested child actually has autism, our newly developed test will be right 90% of the time. That's pretty good. Let's also say our data show that when a tested child actually doesn't have autism, the new test is right 95% of the time. That's even better, right? But the test clearly isn't perfect, right? If it were, those percentages would each be 100%. But what's the real impact of this seemingly small bit of uncertainty? Well, if we were to apply this new test to any and all one-year-olds, the chance that a child with a positive result in this new test actually has autism will be under 25%. And that's probably enough net uncertainty to prevent most families from taking any action. So why? Why so much net uncertainty? It's because that new positive test result is an imperfect piece of evidence that I'm using to update a best starting guess, which is also very much uncertain to begin with. So what at first seemed like just a small amount of uncertainty in this new test has much, much more impact on decision making than you might suspect. And by the way, the math behind this is not new at all. It was worked out by an English minister named Thomas Bayes back in the mid-1700s, but it's still quite underappreciated. Studies have shown that less than a quarter of practicing physicians are comfortable with these ideas. So if you're intrigued by this example at all, and I hope you are, and if you want to learn more, and I hope you do, I'd refer you to the book The Signal and the Noise by Nate Silver, the journalist whose website 538 won him fame and fortune in the wake of his perfect forecast of the Electoral College in 2012. In that excellent book, Mr. Silver not only explains why his much ballyhooed perfect forecast was itself very much a chance happening, he also presents additional examples of the powerful approach for thinking about the impact of uncertainty that I just described, including one where the question at hand is whether one member of a couple is having an affair, and the piece of emergent but imperfect evidence is the discovery of a mysterious pair of underwear in the dresser drawer. Point being, this way of thinking is certainly not limited to biomedical research and really holds promise to help us all make informed decisions. So one last thing I want to call your attention to with my autism test example is the critical importance of that starting best guess. I didn't mention it explicitly, but in that example, I used as my starting best guess the current prevalence of autism in the United States, which is 1.7%, figuring that prior to knowing the new test result, the chance that any child screened had autism would be about equal to the population average. But now, let's say I'm a child neurologist, and all the kids I'm going to screen with this new test have come into my office because their pediatrician, their parent, their teacher was already worried about that child's development. In this very different group of kids, the starting best guess for the chances of autism would be much higher than it is for the general population of 1-year-olds. Maybe as high as 2 out of every 5 patients or so, 40%. So the same math I used before tells me that if I were to apply this new test to this very different group of kids, a positive result would now in fact suggest that a child's chances of autism were over 90%. And that likely crosses the threshold where the clinician and family could take some action. In this context, the new evidence, that positive test result, while still itself just as uncertain as it was before, is updating a very different starting probability. And this leads to a very different level of net uncertainty for the family to consider. So we should strive to tackle any decision armed with good information. But when it comes to those starting best guesses, we also need to be acutely aware that we all tend to bring our various biases with us to the table. According to the Reverend Thomas Bayes' math, an environmental activist and a climate change skeptic would still draw very different conclusions about the impact of a new study of global temperature change, even if they weren't actually fighting at all about the specific results of that new study. Maybe that's not so surprising. But the good news is, as long as their starting best guesses about the probability that the Earth is warming aren't both pinned to the absolute extremes, 0% and 100% respectively, as they both consider more and more evidence, their conclusions will move towards convergence. Maybe a small mathematical note of optimism for these largely polarized times. So in closing, I know full well that you all didn't succeed academically here at Penn State University by pure luck. Deep thought and hard work played a huge role in bringing you to this ceremony tonight. However, with our noses to the grindstone, we tend to forget about the randomness that surrounds us. We tend to forget that chance is an ever-present and powerful force in and of itself, and that if we understand it and don't underestimate it, our future decisions will be sharper. We also tend to forget that it is often the randomness in the world that brings us life's most wonderful surprises and inspiring moments. So be attuned to it, enjoy it, congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Neuschafer. Ladies and gentlemen, the legal corporate body of the Pennsylvania State University is its Board of Trustees. This is the body that, by our charter, is given final responsibility for the governance, welfare, and all other interests pertaining to our university. At this time, I call upon Ann Riley to authorize the conferring of the degrees at this ceremony. A member of the Board of Trustees since 1977 and appointed an emerita trustee on July 12, 2013, Ann Riley is an English teacher and past president of the Penn State Alumni Association. She graduated from Penn State's College of the Liberal Arts with a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in English. We are extremely pleased that she is here with us today. Ms. Riley.
Thank you, President Barron. Congratulations, graduates. Today we celebrate your academic achievement. Please know that Penn State's mission of teaching, research, and service is yours also as you leave Nittany Valley to make the world a better place. The dynamic community of Penn State belongs to you as much as it does to any of us. May your own learning be fulfilling and lifelong. May you remember and stay connected to your mentors, professors, and colleagues who have helped you to be here today. May you give and receive many kindnesses. And now I turn to my official duty. President Barron, by virtue of the authority delegated to the Board of Trustees of the Pennsylvania State University, I authorize you on behalf of the board to confer on each of these candidates the degree earned as certified by the appropriate faculty and deans.
Thank you, Trustee Riley, for the authorization to confer degrees for these candidates assembled. Before we proceed to the conferral of degrees, please note that Penn State recognizes graduates of the graduate school who are veterans or actively serving with special red, white, and blue honor cords. At this time, I would like to ask all graduating military and veteran students who have served our country to please stand. And I would ask those members of our audience who are veterans or active duty members to also please stand. Thank you for your significant contributions to our nation, and you may be seated. I now call upon the Vice Provost for Graduate Education and Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Jean Vasilatos-Yonkin, to preside over the conferring of the degrees.
Thank you, Dr. Barron. Graduation marks an important academic achievement. I am pleased to represent those faculty who certify these students for their degrees. This semester, we will confer 204 doctoral degrees and 1,570 master's degrees. Approximately 15% of our enrollment at University Park is in the graduate school. Dr. Barron, I would now like to introduce the deans of the colleges who are members of our platform party. They will come forward to congratulate both the master's and doctoral candidates from their colleges. Will each dean please stand as I call your name and remain standing until all are introduced. Gary A. Thompson, Associate Dean, College of Agricultural Sciences. Malika Bose, Interim Associate Dean, College of Arts and Architecture. Charles H. Whiteman, Dean, Smeal College of Business. Peter B. Idowu, Assistant Dean, Capital College, Penn State, Harrisburg. Marie C. Harden, Dean, Donald P. Belisario College of Communications. Lee R. Kump, Dean, College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. Gregory Kelly, Senior Associate Dean, College of Education. Justin Schwartz, Dean, College of Engineering. Craig J. Newshafer, Dean, College of Health and Human Development. Vasant G. Honavar, Professor and Edward Frymore Chair, College of Information Sciences and Technology. Hari Asafsky, Dean, Penn State Law and the School of International Affairs. Susan Welsh, Dean, College of the Liberal Arts. Lori Badzek, Dean, College of Nursing. Alexandra B. Slavkovic, Associate Dean, Eberly College of Science. Thank you all. You may be seated. At Penn State, we award two types of master's degrees, academic and professional. Academic degrees, which emphasize research and the creation of new knowledge, include the Master of Arts and the Master of Science. Professional degrees, which symbolize competence in the practical application of knowledge, include 27 master's degree titles, which are listed in your program on page 3. Will all master's candidates please rise for the conferral of your degree?
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the master's degree that you have earned with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations.
You may be seated. The University Marshals will now escort the master's recipients to the stage. I would like to call upon and thank our university nomenclator, Edward B. Christopher, who will introduce individual graduates and announce their fields of study. We will be calling upon each graduate to the platform to be recognized. I would like to convey a gentle reminder to our graduates that all students are expected to remain on the floor until the conclusion of the ceremony, out of respect for the importance and dignity of the occasion. Remaining to share equally in each graduate's moment says much about who we are as a community of Penn Staters and is a true demonstration of we are Penn State. Now let me say a word to our guests today and ask for your cooperation. Most of you have traveled many miles today to hear one name, and each name will be heard if you hold your applause and cheers. In consideration of everyone who is here today to honor one student, please refrain from enthusiastic recognition until the very end. Our graduates have worked long and hard to earn their degrees, and each one deserves the opportunity to be recognized by their family and friends. So we ask that you refrain from applause, cheers, and other noise-making for our graduates until all have crossed the platform and returned to their seats. Then we will applaud their accomplishments together. We are pleased that 1,570 master's degrees are being awarded by Penn State this semester.
Accepting the Master of Education in Lifelong Learning and Adult Education for the late Sergeant Major John Barnes, his widow, Susan Barnes, with deepest condolences from the graduate school and from the entire Penn State University community, we thank Sergeant Major Barnes for his service. College of Agricultural Sciences, Andrew Blair Hewling, Agronomy. Brady William Boyer, Ecology. Joshua Michael Weiser, Wildlife and Fishery Science. Andrew David Harner, Horticulture. Jonathan Michael Binder, Agronomy. Dennis Sharma, Renewable Energy and Sustainability Systems. Justin Daniel Schumacher, Renewable Energy and Sustainability Systems. Diana Madeline Urrea Vivas, Renewable Energy and Sustainable Systems. Michael Eric Fell, Renewable Energy and Sustainability Systems. Isamar Amador Diaz, Agricultural and Biological Engineering. Robert Allen Christopher, Community and Economic Development. Raphael N. Jean-François, Community and Economic Development. Tyler Justin Reed, Community and Economic Development. Thomas Charles Dempsey, Renewable Energy and Sustainability Systems. Irwan Yowatano, Renewable Energy and Sustainability Systems. Maya Brignan Brandon, Community and Economic Development. Jillian Reed Rogers, Community and Economic Development. Haley Kirsten Wales Green, Public Administration. College of Arts and Architecture. Andre Aranjo de Sousa, Performance. Wade M. Judy, performance. Catherine Elizabeth Kessler, performance. Jacob Franklin Bender, conducting. Alexander Joseph Cooper, conducting. Dylan N. Crossan, music. Edward Eugene Scully, performance. Erin Lindsay McDaniels, performance and pedagogy. Jalki Wong, performance. Cynthia Lynn Huan, landscape architecture. Ji Young, landscape architecture. Nicholas Ariel Backer, architecture. Shenyang Tang, architecture. Madhubala Aya Perumal, architecture. Manal Anis, architecture. Hannah Rachel Foster, art. Rihanna L. Lawson, art. Ashlyn Kira Shanice Pope, art. Michelle Roxana Etrik, art. Eugene O, art. Lydia Renee Ventrelli, art. Andrew Lewis Chesakis, architecture. Tyler Corbley, architecture. Kaylee Marie Harmon, performance. Smeal College of Business. Shriyar Amer, Management and Organizational Leadership. Milton Rahman, Management and Organizational Leadership. Michael Angelo DeVito, Management and Organizational Leadership. Robert Newton, Management and Organizational Leadership. Andrew Marzullo, Management and Organizational Leadership. Henry Runyon Jungles, Management and Organizational Leadership. Syed Hassan Ali, Management and Organizational Leadership. Marlene Sharp, Management and Organizational Leadership. Tamote K.M. Paluku, Management and Organizational Leadership. Woo Tae Kim, Management and Organizational Leadership. Brian John Umbaugh, Management and Organizational Leadership. Aaron M. Hardy, Management and Organizational Leadership. Ahmed Isaim Gamel Abdel Razek, Management and Organizational Leadership. Aaron Paul Stricker, Management and Organizational Leadership. Allison Taylor Lewis, Accounting. Heather Nicole Everts, Accounting. Frank Gashion, Accounting. Joseph Michael McGonigal, Accounting. Michael Joseph Piazza, Accounting. John Michael Dugan, Accounting. Abhishek Gupta, Business Administration. Benedette Piva, Business Administration. Anup Sharma, Business Administration. Ankit Trivedi, Business Administration. Karthik Jakakumara Sharma, Business Administration. Pankuri Kataria, Business Administration. Robert Iramescu, Accounting. James Ronan, Accounting. Wenli Yin, Finance. King Chao, Business Administration. Elizabeth Ann Kennedy, Business Administration. Lenny Matthew, Business Administration. Brianna Andriana Thompson, Management and Organizational Leadership. Isaac Luke Shoemaker, Management and Organizational Leadership. Thomas Christopher Bluge, Management and Organizational Leadership. Thomas J. Allardyce, Management and Organizational Leadership. Jan Curtis Johnson, Management and Organizational Leadership. Charles Schumann, Management and Organizational Leadership. Madeline Pamela Weirman, Management and Organizational Leadership. Brian Timothy Caldwell, Business Administration. Christopher William Phillips, Business Administration. William Joseph Ward, Business Administration. Yashan Tsai, Management and Organizational Leadership. Chong Lun Wong, Management and Organizational Leadership. William Stephen Barber, Accounting. Jae Ji-hyun Shon, Accounting. Jude Michael Coughlin, Accounting. Gregory James Pelicano, Accounting. Megan Smith, Accounting. Anuj Mayor Mehta, Accounting. Aubrey Elizabeth Davis, Accounting. Carlos Robert Fullerton, Accounting. Zachary Allen Grill, Accounting. Jacob D. Miller, Accounting. Remya Rajiv, Business Administration. Kevin Gerard Gray, Accounting. Farzan Sohail, Business Administration. Jonathan Guido Capra Calderon, Business Administration. Thomas Babajide Bolanle Olurumiti Olumide Adoedele Fiki, Business Administration. James Babb, Business Administration. Michael Anthony Crawford, Business Administration. Prashant Bhatt, Business Administration. Dominic Mezzetti, Management and Organizational Leadership. Emily Casey, Management and Organizational Leadership. Michael D. Sarago, Management and Organizational Leadership. Kayla Leanne Ortiz, Management and Organizational Leadership. Christine Vetter, Management and Organizational Leadership. Isaac James Davis, Management and Organizational Leadership. Natalie Ann Mialas, Management and Organizational Leadership. Kristen Kelly, Accounting. Patrick Marino, Accounting. Chu Ching Wu, Management and Organizational Leadership. Lun Cha Li, Management and Organizational Leadership. Xiao Chung Li, Management and Organizational Leadership. NRL Inkbot, Management and Organizational Leadership. Destiny Brianna Barner, Accounting. Caroline Patrice Raujeski, Accounting. Natalie Marie Rold, Accounting. Kylie Brooke Gorel, Accounting. Julia Catherine Baumgardner, Accounting. Ivan Alexander Tejo, Management and Organizational Leadership. Eduardo Trevino Estrada, Management and Organizational Leadership. Vichan Pandi, Management and Organizational Leadership. Naufal Nahiral Arafin, Management and Organizational Leadership. Hatan Tariq Ismail, Supply Chain Management. Samuel Rogers Wetherill, Supply Chain Management. Capital College. Melissa Ann James, Homeland Security. Bilal Daoud, Homeland Security. Alan Loya Martin, Homeland Security. Robert Paul Moore, Homeland Security. Smadar Nahum Amidor, Homeland Security. Kristen Michelle Schilber, Homeland Security. Paulina De Jesus, Public Administration. Jeremy James Henry White, Homeland Security. Jason Ward, Homeland Security. Lindsay Megan Tarner, Homeland Security. Casey Lee Alexander, Homeland Security. Catherine Elizabeth Marat, Public Administration. Nicole Marie Baumgardner, Public Administration. Jatara Shanique Smith, Public Administration. Cassie Rose Muskie, Public Administration. Aisata Beatrice Mead, Public Administration. Jesus David Aguiar, Accounting. Benjamin Robert Clappert, Homeland Security. Adolfo Eduard Viesca, Homeland Security. Kiera Simone Branch, Public Administration. Zachary Randall Tucker, Homeland Security. Sarah Elizabeth Thomas, Homeland Security. Madeline Catherine Luer, Homeland Security. Scott William Kanselmeyer, Homeland Security. Raphael Jean-Francois, Public Administration. Mark William McKenney, Public Administration. Lauren Francis Serpa Mail, Public Administration. Kristen Nicole Johnson, Public Administration. Janine Michelle Davis, Public Administration. Nathan I. Kormanek, Homeland Security. Lana Kahwa Saeed, Public Administration. Mariana Ayanella Sava, Public Administration. Donald P. Belisario College of Communications. Julia Nicole Gessner, Media Studies. Wang Yi Ten, Media Studies. Yiting Chai, Media Studies. College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. Mark Arthur Hebert, Geographic Information Systems. Sven Alogic, Materials Science and Engineering. Gregory Scott, Geographic Information Systems. James Anthony Daly, Geographic Information Systems. Bronson P. Furster, Energy and Mineral Engineering. Hao Ming Ma, Energy and Mineral Engineering. Cheng Cheng Liu, Energy and Mineral Engineering. Chung Ke Shi, Energy and Mineral Engineering. Abdullah Saleh Al-Zabi, Energy and Mineral Engineering. Mohammed Bader Abdullah, Energy and Mineral Engineering. Brittany Victoria Britton, Earth Sciences. John Robert Banghoff, Meteorology and Atmospheric Science. Sean Stephen Merdzek, Meteorology and Atmospheric Science. Timothy Eugene Witham, Geosciences. College of Education. Melody Stein Fair, Educational Leadership. Kimberly Ann Ayers, Higher Education. Sean Isaac Lee, Higher Education. Kimberly Ann Batandolo, Higher Education. Shasha Wang, Higher Education. Julie Allison Cooper, Higher Education. Anne-Marie Mounts, Higher Education. Lisa S. Swire, Special Education. Amber Thompson, Organization Development and Change. Rebecca Sue Shoemaker, Special Education. Amanda Marie Bensel, Learning, Design, and Technology. Melissa Danielle Hahn, Special Education. Nicole Marie Hessler, Special Education. Laura Ann DiCarlo, Curriculum and Instruction. Megan Logan, Curriculum and Instruction. Amelia Grace Suntag, Curriculum and Instruction. Danielle Mel Leibowitz, Curriculum and Instruction. Kristen Ann Williamson, Curriculum and Instruction. Jessica Jordan Sintkrop, Special Education. Laura Caitlin Bevel, Curriculum and Instruction. Morgan Elizabeth Fulton, Curriculum and Instruction. Annie Axenroth, Curriculum and Instruction. Laura Ellen Werner, Curriculum and Instruction. Alyssa Marie DeVille, Curriculum and Instruction. Kenneth Craig, Curriculum and Instruction. Thomas Reuther, Curriculum and Instruction. Sarah Marie Lucas, Curriculum and Instruction. Jamie Lynn Mulholland, Special Education. Ashley Carmo, Higher Education. Kelsey M. Combs, Counselor Education. Allison Marie Turley, Counselor Education. Kayla Ann Logsdon, Organization Development and Change. Heather A. Codner, Higher Education. Susan Elizabeth McGrath, Higher Education. Rachel Louise Miller, Special Education. Brittany Nicole Farino, Special Education. Christina Skopanich, Higher Education. Joseph Charles Tamburo, Higher Education. Adam Williamson, Higher Education. Jonathan Allen Altland, Higher Education. Alexis Lee Spain, Higher Education. Sarah Ann McDonald, Higher Education. Marissa Rose Tavaglione, Special Education. Sarah K. Sarklos, Special Education. Samantha A. Mawed, Special Education. Lainey Cool, Special Education. Elizabeth Janice Gilliand, Special Education. Erin Christine Bloomling, Special Education. Lori Ann Mattis, Workforce Education and Development. Renee Nicole Gamer, Workforce Education and Development. Brendan M. Kramer, Workforce Education and Development. Nina K. Eckert, Workforce Education and Development. Tamina Shayan, Curriculum and Instruction. Thomas W. Norris, Education Theory and Policy. Morgan Brooke Kaluza, Special Education. Megan Ellen Gallagher, Special Education. Madison Alexa Monaco, Special Education. Elizabeth Anna Daly, Special Education. Catherine Gregor Nelson, Organization Development and Change. Tara Louise Lalonde, Lifelong Learning and Adult Education. Virginia Dickinson Oberly, Higher Education. Coleman Levi Keith, Higher Education. Julia Connie Moscato, Higher Education. Heather Marie Veal, Higher Education. Janine Tawarat Kotu, Higher Education. Emily Javit, Higher Education. Jacob Paul Edmonds, Higher Education. Evan Lee Fossen, Higher Education. Hannah E. Robinson, Special Education. Nicole Lynn Garrett, Special Education. Alexandra Rose Mostaller, Special Education. Harold Mark Dunn, Educational Leadership. Shu Yin Chen, Counselor Education. Stephanie Chirango, Counselor Education. Hyun A. Ro, Higher Education. Lauren Amy Lilac, Organization Development and Change. Nicole Catherine Drabert, Special Education. Morgan Ann Hoskins, Lifelong Learning and Adult Education. Lourdes Ligia Mercado de Wiles, Special Education. Yaming Fang, Educational Theory and Policy. Shounan Jean, Curriculum and Instruction. Alexandra R. Spitzley, Curriculum and Instruction. Jonathan L. Yeoman, Educational Leadership. Sharne Tunil Jimenez, Special Education. Carolina Zavala, Special Education. Trisha Blaskovich, Curriculum and Instruction. Alicia Jenny O'Brien, Counselor Education. Jessica Yvonne Taylor, Counselor Education. JC Allison Hoke, Counselor Education. Brenda L. Lutz Colby, Counselor Education. Christian J. Tolochinsky, Counselor Education. Colton Pierce Miller, Counselor Education. Erin Ann Factenthal, Counselor Education. Katerina Elizabeth Gregorian, Counselor Education. Turquoisa McNabb, Counselor Education. Juliana Quintero, Counselor Education. Christy Lynn Reese, Organization Development and Change. Yodit Yemane, Organization Development and Change. Chloe Walsh Phillip, Curriculum and Instruction. Addison Haley Godfrey, Curriculum and Instruction with dual title in Comparative and International Education. Chungmei Fen, Educational Leadership. Siti Nureini, Curriculum and Instruction. Yun Chen Yen, Curriculum and Instruction. Kelly Ann Mott, Special Education. Sharon Rose Horenstein, Special Education. Daniel John Merrill, Learning, Design, and Technology. Austin John Van Allen, Educational Leadership. Katrina Ann Heeman, Counselor Education. Unsa Memon, Counselor Education. Savannah L. Weaker, Counselor Education. Cheyenne Elizabeth Snyder, Counselor Education. Christopher Matthew Hughes, Counselor Education. Kaisha Monique Isidore, Counselor Education. Yang Liu, Counselor Education. Yilun Chen, Counselor Education. Xiao Ling Ma, Counselor Education. College of Engineering. Sonali Sinha, Data Analytics. Eric David Fredrickson, Engineering Leadership and Innovation Management. Drew Edward Bazell, Engineering Science and Mechanics. Sishir Kanal, Environmental Engineering. Alexis N. Galwelko, Civil Engineering. Allison Lenhart, Architectural Engineering. Elena Rachel Gowdy, Architectural Engineering. Rebecca A. Brott, Architectural Engineering. Austin Nye Heidelbaugh, Architectural Engineering. Sierra L. Scott, Architectural Engineering. Andrew N. Stanton, Architectural Engineering. Kathleen S. Witt, Architectural Engineering. Carol B. Chen, Architectural Engineering. Evan Christian Steinman, Data Analytics. C.E. Gu, Architectural Engineering. Jiangjing Zheng, Architectural Engineering. Shangmi Zhu, Architectural Engineering. Jiaqi Li, Architectural Engineering. Yi-Won Jong, Architectural Engineering. Elizabeth Ann Finch, Software Engineering. Alicia Dawn Hantz, Data Analytics. Ume Takia Zaman, Data Analytics. Harini Gopinath, Data Analytics. Rebecca Susanna Holly, Data Analytics. Maureen Marie Malik, Engineering Management. Noor Bar Al Ulom, Data Analytics. Brooke Janine Ledke, Data Analytics. Alyssa Ruth Minier, Mechanical Engineering. Wengchu Zhang, Architectural Engineering. Jesse Hernandez, Software Engineering. Adam Dean Mowry, Systems Engineering. Payam Farajani, Aerospace Engineering. Zainab Hakimi, Computer and Science and Engineering. Dong Hyun Kim, Computer Science and Engineering. Adil Azza, Data Analytics. Sanjeev Kumar Suri, Data Analytics. Anika Green, Software Engineering. Andrea Michelle Lass, Systems Engineering. Meng Liu, Industrial Engineering with dual title in Operations Research. Chang Liu, Industrial Engineering with dual title in Operations Research. Yu Chen, Applied Statistics. Kyle Suwila, Data Analytics. Venkata Naga Padrip Mungarmuri, Electrical Engineering. Mandar Parab, Electrical Engineering. Gregory Dirk, Mechanical Engineering. Madeline Alma Margavicus, Mechanical Engineering. Jonathan Thomas Watson, Mechanical Engineering. Aravinth Sadagopan, Aerospace Engineering. Krishna Varadarajin, Mechanical Engineering. Suril Shriyas Seth, Industrial Engineering. Sachin Hagari Bomana Hali, Aerospace Engineering. Noah Richard Robertson, Bioengineering. Jacqueline Kelly Eschbach, Data Analytics. Matthew Joseph Klinser, Nuclear Engineering. Maged Fauzi Salama, Software Engineering. Swapnil Modi, Software Engineering. Oluwatobi Grabedo, Architectural Engineering. Stephen Lee Davis, Computer Science and Engineering. Skylar Anderson, Computer Science and Engineering. Philip Wutek Shin, Computer Science and Engineering. Richard Hernandez, Nuclear Engineering. Valentin Arthur V, Computer Science and Engineering. Damien Aerospace Engineering. Michael Nicholas Nino, Aerospace Engineering. Andrew Pulte, Acoustics. Anish Prasad Paranchpe, Computer Science and Engineering. Shail Paragpai Shah, Computer Science, Civil Engineering. Shi Hong Huang, Electrical Engineering. Anand Gopalakrishnan, Electrical Engineering. Hamid Al-Ali, Engineering Leadership and Innovation Management. Savinay Nagendra, Electrical Engineering. Xingchao Yun, Computer Science and Engineering. Pujitha Kale, Electrical Engineering. Jacqueline A. Leonard, Data Analytics. Timothy Michael Regan, Acoustics. Nicole Anna Chipego, Systems Engineering. Bing-Ye Lee, Civil Engineering. Ri Li, Civil Engineering. Rong Zhao, Civil Engineering. Catherine Heininger, Industrial Engineering. William Jordan Peck, Industrial Engineering. Alvin N. Latchman, Electrical Engineering. Matthew Edward Dalek, Mechanical Engineering. Martel Tardy, Data Analytics. Jermaine Christopher Banton, Engineering Management. Rishab Shirish Kamat, Industrial Engineering. Madhura Suhash Mundale, Industrial Engineering with dual title in Operations Research. Jenath Banerjee, Industrial Engineering with dual title in Operations Research. Abhijit Golhar, Industrial Engineering. Anik Agarwal, Industrial Engineering with dual title in Operations Research. Madhumita Girija Sundararaman, Industrial Engineering. Bidhan Chandra Mohanty, Electrical Engineering. Abby Severin, Architectural Engineering. Jessica Haley Thompson, Architectural Engineering. Madeline M. Giovannioli, Architectural Engineering. Madhubala Ayam Perumal, Architectural Engineering. Adam Scott Goldberg, Data Analytics. Sangjun No, Electrical Engineering. Nikolai Maltsev, Data Analytics. Zhen Dong, Electrical Engineering. Brandon Engel, Mechanical Engineering. Ryan Price, Software Engineering. Gregory Bicknell, Mechanical Engineering. Casey James Bate, Mechanical Engineering. John K. Ostrander, Engineering Design. Tanner James Missler, Data Analytics. Joseph S. Senki, Software Engineering. Farouk Loguglu, Nuclear Engineering. Masha Dustoseni, Mechanical Engineering. Samuel Zartman, Architectural Engineering. Jackson Sanders Hill, Architectural Engineering. Amanda Green, Architectural Engineering. Jeffrey Jason Kim, Engineering, Science, and Mechanics. Jordan O'Donnell, Architectural Engineering. Eric Iavarone, Architectural Engineering. Taylor Linus, Architectural Engineering. Connor Douglas Smith, Architectural Engineering. Tanner Martin DiCrapio, Architectural Engineering. Kylie Nicole Scovern, Architectural Engineering. Morgan E. Flynn, Architectural Engineering. Christina M. Kramer, Architectural Engineering. Alyssa M. Anselmo, Architectural Engineering. College of Health and Human Development. Rachel Brianne Bennett, Communication Science and Disorder. Sarah Embley, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Maria Viscosi, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Victoria Starr, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Nicole Romano, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Cara Francis Ruggiero, Nutritional Sciences. Aram Rahman, Public Health. Krista Tandy Malobo, Recreation Park Tourism Management. Zachary Ryan Hobson, Kinesiology. Brandon Alexander Henkin, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Andrew Paul Kutzler, Health Policy and Administration. John Salvatore Cotaletta, Health Policy and Administration. Crystal Bell Coleman, Health Policy and Administration. Allison Dina Peisner, Health Policy and Administration. Daniel Christopher Moyer, Health Policy and Administration. Carly R. Frisbee, Health Policy and Administration. James Anthony Bowe IV, Health Policy and Administration. Holly Lynn Frick, Health Policy and Administration. Elise Maria Skirpoo, Health Policy and Administration. Aditya Dilip Rajput, Health Policy and Administration. Joseph Newbert, Health Policy and Administration. Erin Elizabeth Schoaf, Health Policy and Administration. Imani Folashade Adabue, Health Policy and Administration. Lucas Robert Pierce, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Kirk Seymour Widener, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Marissa Maidel, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Nicole Broderick, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Emily K. Curtin, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Emma Lauren Crawford, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Amanda Carbonari, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Elizabeth Ann Rodriguez, Communication Sciences and Disorders. Sarah Michelle Hirschberger, Communication Sciences and Disorders. College of Information Sciences and Technology. Gary Dean Eldridge, Information Sciences. Gregory Darnell Miller, Information Sciences. Joshua Aaron Crawford, Information Sciences. Yasmin Tatani, Informatics. Tracy Jean Edwards, Enterprise Architecture. Mukund Srinath, Information Sciences and Technology. Benjamin David Epiner, Information Sciences and Technology. Sarkat S. Patel, Information Sciences. Seema Anantha, Enterprise Architecture. Luis Emilio Jimenez, Information Sciences. Dennis Sulci, Information Sciences. Bruce J. Burke, Enterprise Architecture. Chen Rong Kin, Information Sciences and Technology. Kian Sun, Information Sciences and Technology. Julia Victoria Hodge, Enterprise Architecture. Dominic Vincenzo Petruno, Enterprise Architecture. Jeffrey Radin, Information Sciences. Nishil Vakhani, Enterprise Architecture. School of International Affairs. Divya Angelina Sundar. International Affairs. Eunji Park, International Affairs. David Lindsay Ward Smith, International Affairs. Matthew Justin Dietrich, International Affairs. Zachary Michael Adams, International Affairs. Tony Hudson, International Affairs. James G. Corman, International Affairs. Elizabeth Cora Leiby, International Affairs. Aparajita Sengupta, International Affairs. Asi Jurareuth, International Affairs. Angel Maxine Peña, International Affairs. Crystal Danielle Richardson, International Affairs. Sarah G. Fusco, International Affairs. Stacy Jarvis, International Affairs. College of the Liberal Arts. Erica Ray Duncan, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Karma Deacon Harb, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Jamie Nicole Kreitzner, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Jennifer Mitchell, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Lores Lopez Stiles, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Nadra Bakramnova Sidikova, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Elizabeth Ann Comerford, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Stephen Matthew Montag, Project Management. Brian R. Navilia, Psychology of Leadership. Nicholas Michael Reichert, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Robert Keith Reeve, Psychology of Leadership. Myrna Viana Blair, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Ebtahal Ben Sharban, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Stephanie Marie Lopez, Comparative Literature. Elizabeth Ann Brennan, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Jorge R. Reyes, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Karina Antoinette Smith, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Travis Allen Folmar, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Shun Yu, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Michael William Kurosky, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Andrea Frank, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Dwayne Paul Blank, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Melissa Lynn Ola, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Dorothy L. Schott, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Racine Wong, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Alyssa Lee Fava, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Karina Faith Federico, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Hillary Joy Olson, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Shaylia Marie Karras, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Richard Devon Daly, History. Justin Smith, English. Gabriel Drew Nieves, English. Sabrina LaPearl Evans, English. Joshua Bartholomew Tuttle, English. Rachel Ellen Banca, English. Aaron G. Montalvo, English. Robert Angeles Nguyen, English. Joel David Madison, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Elaine Ann St. Goddard, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Ryan Winthrop, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Remy Marie Ward, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Xu Yin Chen, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Stephen Bennett Scholar, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Morgan L. Manning, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Michael Brian Newman, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Natasha Athena Roberts, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Beko T. Ekoko, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Haley Devlin Banashevsky, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Bryn Alexandra Moser, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Andrew James Reynal, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Shan Sharbharwal, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Chang Chu Tan, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Clinton Michael Nahad, Psychology of Leadership. Stephanie L. Reyes, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Francis Marissa Lobo, Psychology. Jasmine Nicole Hall, Psychology of Leadership. Adam Lee Merberger, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Renee Nicole Hartley, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Kelsey Marie Crowder, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Asia Nails, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Jacqueline Marie Calloway, Project Management. Mark A. Sandy, Psychology of Leadership. Marissa Jean Calhoun, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Rachel Ann Morey, Psychology of Leadership. Megan Miller, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Nikki Lynn Ingram Orsini, Psychology of Leadership. Madeline Hughes, Comparative Literature. Michael Derek Gideon, Comparative Literature. Ling Yi Huang, Teaching English as a Second Language. Chao Fang Liu, Teaching English as a Second Language. Jordan David Batchelor, Teaching English as a Second Language. Yu Ki, Teaching English as a Second Language. Adina Asekeir, Teaching English as a Second Language. Maria del Valle Guzman Antello, Teaching English as a Second Language. Douglas de Sousa Batista, Teaching English as a Second Language. Dong Hyung Hu, Economics. Mariam Banton, Teaching English as a Second Language. Sondus Ahmed S. Bajalan, Teaching English as a Second Language. Chi Bu, Teaching English as a Second Language. Yi Wen U, Teaching English as a Second Language. A gentle reminder to all our graduates that all students are expected to remain on the floor until the conclusion of the ceremony. Elizabeth G. Hopta, English. Amanda M. Snook, English. Danielle Lynn Fruin, English. Andrea Noel Brown, English. Lauren Marie Nijeko, English. Morgan Alexandra Updike, English. Alexander Ray Bilger, English. Chloe Atherton Cullen, English. Sage Babupka Peak, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Selena Evans, Psychology of Leadership. Brittany Lacey, Human Resources and Employment Relations. Brendan Casey Bernicker, Political Science. Dwayne Allen Nelson, Psychology of Leadership. Juliana Yvette Cruz Martinez, Spanish. Victoria Nicole Jansen, Spanish. Trevor John Barrow, Spanish. Sonia Mitrovich Trewick, Spanish. Estilita Maria Cassiani Obeso, Spanish. Dmitry Alexandrovich Cherkasov, Teaching English as a Second Language. Bunan Altowaini, Teaching English as a Second Language. Jing Zhan, International Affairs. Ji-Wei Zhong, Law. College of Nursing. Jessica L. Masgay, nursing. Alexandria Thompson, nursing. Tessa Nims, nursing. Brianne E. Gibson, nursing. Marisha Namkung, nursing. Caroline Frances Gintart, nursing. Melissa Lynn Thomas, nursing. Tiffany Ann Satil, nursing. Shane M. Burkitt, nursing. Lee Ann Geriloff, nursing. Surey McDowell, nursing. Aaliyah Ferrer, nursing. Lois Sue Thompson, nursing. Jennifer Lynn Strang Roberts, nursing. Samantha Federo, nursing. Taylor Marie Swanzer, nursing. Aisha Scarpino, nursing. Mariah Lynn Mowry, nursing. Megan Ann Seibel, nursing. Kristen Lynn Jacobs, nursing. Sarah Elizabeth Engel, nursing. Allison Hartman, nursing. Tiffany F. Lawrence, nursing. Jonathan A. Mickness, nursing. Mary Joanne Carrillo, nursing. Victoria Jean Scott, nursing. Courtney Rita Sizak, nursing. Kalia Nicole Melander, nursing. Mandy Jane Miller, nursing. Xenia Iris Kugler, nursing. Eberly College of Science. Stephen Marshall, Applied Statistics. James Henry Schwab, Applied Statistics. Stephen J. Thornton, Mathematics. Stephen Francis Onsat, Applied Statistics. Shi-Hu Zhao, Applied Statistics. Amanda Marie Rue, Applied Statistics. Matthew W. Perry, Neuroscience. Jonathan Feverstall, Applied Statistics. Laura V. Glatzer, Neuroscience. William Preston Bauman, Astronomy and Astrophysics. Leanne Sue Santoro, Chemistry. Christiana Marie Kemp, Applied Statistics. Mark Andrew Werner, Chemistry. Michael Joseph DeCarl, Applied Statistics. Sarah Stratton, Forensic Science. Samantha Page Jarvis, Forensic Science. Abigail Bender, Forensic Science. Shayna Lynn Gray, Forensic Science. Sydney Alanis Gaston Sanchez, Forensic Science. Teresa Marie Teej, Forensic Science. Prithkat Mathur, Biotechnology. Ling Kuo, Biotechnology. Daniel Han, Biotechnology. Chen Chun Li, Biotechnology. Carlo Mazzolini, Applied Statistics. Haley Kirsten Wales Green, Public Administration.
Now I go up here? I'll see you there in a minute. Huh? I'll see you up there in a minute.
Actually, we are going to ask all of our master's graduates to please rise, and let's applaud them one more time. Please be seated. We now turn to our doctoral candidates. Dr. Barron, the students who will proceed to the stage have met the stringent requirements of their doctoral degree and have written dissertations or attained professional level achievements that are significant contributions to their professions. Will all doctoral candidates please rise for the conferral of your degree?
In recognition of your completion of academic requirements of the highest order, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the doctoral degrees you have earned, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations. Please remain standing for your hooding.
The faculty escorts will now rise and hood these new doctoral recipients with the attire symbolic of their new academic standing. The Doctor of Philosophy degree is awarded for demonstrated scholarship and original contributions to research in one of 93 major fields of study at Penn State. The border on the hood is dark blue. The Doctor of Education degree recognizes scholarly achievement in the application of research results to practical problems in the field of education. The border on the hood is light blue. The Doctor of Musical Arts recognizes professional level performance and scholarly knowledge of the instrument and of the discipline of music. The border on the hood is pink. The Doctor of Nursing Practice recognizes the highest level of clinical nursing practice. The border on the hood is apricot. The Doctor of Public Health recognizes leadership in the application of translational science and implementation of research findings to practice in the field of public health. The border on the hood is salmon pink. All 5 hoods are lined with Penn State's colors, blue and white. New doctoral recipients are escorted by members of our graduate faculty, and we are pleased to include them in this ceremony. The variations in the colorful academic regalia of the faculty represented here today denote the many institutions of higher education where our faculty have received their degrees and signal the diverse and impressive educational background and training of our professors and the expertise they bring to our students. You may be seated until the marshals direct you to the stage. I would like to again remind everyone to please refrain from applause and cheers until all our graduates have crossed the platform and returned to their seats so that we can hear every name being called. We will then applaud their accomplishments together. I promise you.
Wait a second. Should I start? The College of Architectural Sciences. Dr. Chubhada Chote, PhD in pathobiology, escorted by Dr. Bhushan Jayarao and Dr. Suresh Kuchipudi. Dr. Aaron Matthew Cook, PhD in agricultural, environmental, and regional economics, escorted by Professor Mark Brennan. Dr. Bradley Lewis Olson, PhD in agricultural and extension education, escorted by Professor Mark A. Brennan. Dr. Devesh Kumar, PhD in energy and mineral engineering, escorted by Professor Sanjay Srinivasan. Is that wrong? That's wrong. I'll hold that. That was wrong, what I just said. David? Dr. David Henninger. Okay. Okay. Do you have David Henninger? And after David, who do you have? Stacy. After David, we have Stacy. Stacy. Okay, and then we have okay. Then we have Emily Langley. Okay. All right, here's the left. Okay. Thank you. Apologies. Dr. David Charles Ensminger, PhD in wildlife and fisheries science, escorted by Professor Tracy Langkild. Dr. Stacy Marie Amberkey, PhD in ecology, escorted by Professor David Andrew Miller. Dr. Natalie Osper, PhD in plant biology, escorted by Professor Christina Rosa. Dr. Emily K. Lavelli, PhD in horticulture, escorted by Professor David Eisenstadt and Professor Richard P. Marini. Dr. Christopher Finian Strock, PhD in plant biology, escorted by Professor Jonathan Paul Lynch. Dr. Shauna K. Rainford, PhD in ecology, escorted by Professor Patrick Joseph Drohan. Dr. Shelley Alexandra Whitehead, PhD in entomology, escorted by Professor Gary Felton. Dr. Caroline Treach, PhD in entomology, escorted by Professor Andrew Robert Deans. Dr. Monica Hospodiuk, PhD in biorenewable systems, escorted by Professor Jeffrey M. Katchmark. Dr. Thomas Casey Weathers, PhD in wildlife and fisheries science, escorted by Professor John Edward Carlson. Dr. Heather Rosalie Hoge, PhD in art history, escorted by Professor Madhuri Shrikant Desai. Dr. Taeyong Kim, DMA in piano performance, escorted by Professor Christopher Michael Guzman. Dr. Ji-won Ha, DMA in piano performance, escorted by Professor Christopher Michael Guzman. Dr. Clarissa Ferreira Albrecht da Silveira, PhD in architecture, escorted by Professor Ute Poreshki. Smeal College of Business. Dr. Yaru Grace Liu, PhD in Business Administration, escorted by Professor Evelyn Ann Thomchik. Dr. Luis Arturo Lopez, PhD in Business Administration, escorted by Professor Brent William Ambrose. Dr. Mark Nathan Thibodeau, PhD in Business Administration, escorted by Professor Brent William Ambrose. Dr. David Conrad Gempesaw, PhD in Business Administration, escorted by Professor Timothy T. Simmet. Donald P. Belisario, College of Communications. Dr. Azita Hatef, PhD in Mass Communications, escorted by Professor Matthew Paul McAllister. Dr. Stephanie Elizabeth Davis, PhD in Mass Communications, escorted by Professor Colleen Connolly Ahern. College of Earth and Mineral Sciences. Dr. Katya Lawmer, PhD in Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, escorted by Professor Eugene Edmund Cloto. Dr. Chi Yun Tsai, PhD in Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, escorted by Professor Chris Forrest. Dr. Dan Dan Wei, PhD in Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, escorted by Professor Jose Dolores Fuentes. Dr. Jonathan Nelson, PhD in Geography, escorted by Professor Alan M. McEachran. Dr. Amy Pauline Welch, PhD in Geography, escorted by Professor Alan McEachran. Dr. Nathan Douglas Smith, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Ho-jong Kim. Dr. Donna D. Deng, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Joshua Alexander Robinson. Dr. Kehao Chang, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Joshua Alexander Robinson. Dr. Yakun Wan, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Venkantarman Gopalan. Dr. Kyun Jin Yu, PhD in Energy and Mineral Engineering, escorted by Professor Seth Adam Bloomsack. Dr. Kyung Jae Im, PhD in Energy and Mineral Engineering, escorted by Professor Derek Ellsworth. Dr. Cheori Wong, PhD in Energy and Mineral Engineering, escorted by Professor Derek Ellsworth. Dr. Devesh Kumar, PhD in Energy and Mineral Engineering, escorted by Professor Sanjay Srinivasan. Dr. Zara Nirubagashish, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Andrew Belmonte. Dr. Jared Jacob Blecher, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Todd Palmer. So Jared is right now. Christopher's next. Christopher.
Christopher, and then Laura, and then College of Education, Yulei, Danielle, Yulei, and then after Barney, I don't have Neil. No. Okay, so I've got you. Yes, I've got her, and then I've got Smita. Are they standing in there? No? Okay, let's do them. We'll do them, and then I'll keep going with Christopher. Okay. So I'm gonna do Yulei, and then I'll do Smita. Okay.
Dr. Yu Lei, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Mauricio Terrones. Dr. Smita Shetty, PhD in Materials Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Susan E. Trolaker McKinstry. Dr. Christopher Michael Gigliotti, PhD in Bioengineering, escorted by Professor Todd Palmer. Dr. Laura Elise Rodriguez, PhD in Geosciences with dual title in Astrobiology, escorted by Professor Christopher Howard House.
College of Education.
College of Education. Dr. Li Wei Wei, PhD in Educational Psychology, escorted by Professor Priscilla Karen Murphy. Dr. Danielle Barney, PhD in Higher Education, escorted by Professor Karen Murphy.
Okay, good.
Dr. Neil Andrew Cronin, DED in Educational Leadership, escorted by Professor Deborah Schussler. Dr. Colleen M. Epler-Ruths, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction, escorted by Professor Scott P. McDonald. Dr. Catherine Margaret Bateman, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction, escorted by Professor Scott P. McDonald. Dr. Carmen Mariana Vanderhoof, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction, escorted by Professor Gregory John Kelly. Dr. Aubrey Megan Webb, PhD in Educational Psychology, escorted by Professor Scott McDonald. Dr. Nadia Alazimi, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction, escorted by Professor Ravinder Kool. Dr. Jung Yon Colin, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction, escorted by Professor Andrea Vujan McCloskey. Dr. Weedleen Seraphin, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction, escorted by Professor Janine M. Staples. Dr. Ana Carolina Diaz Beltran, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction, escorted by Professor Mark Thomas Kissling. Dr. Pai Wei Lee, PhD in Lifelong Learning and Adult Education with dual title in Comparative and International Education, escorted by Professor Rachel Wolkenhauer. Dr. Amy Elizabeth Long, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction, escorted by Professor Bernard Joel Badali and Professor Rachel Marie Wolkenhauer. Dr. Dwayne Ray Cormier, PhD in Curriculum and Instruction, escorted by Professor Bernard Joel Badiali. Dr. Joseph Patrick Harford, PhD in Workforce Education and Development, escorted by Professor Hyung Jun Yoon. Dr. Wong Bei Park, PhD in Workforce Education and Development, escorted by Professor David Lynn Passmore. Dr. Rebecca Y. Bayek, PhD in Learning, Design, and Technology with dual title in Comparative and International Education, escorted by Professor Gabriella T. Richard. Dr. Bang Mi Das, PhD in Counselor Education, escorted by Professor Richard Hasler. Dr. Elizabeth Hennigan Gillifen, PhD in Counselor Education, escorted by Professor Richard Hasler. College of Engineering. Dr. Yuquan Shah, PhD in Computer Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor George Cassettis. Dr. Nida Nasirani, PhD in Computer Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor George Kesidisk. Dr. Beth Anna Last, PhD in Engineering Science and Mechanics, escorted by Professor Reginald Felix Hamilton. Dr. Tanmay Dut Mathur, PhD in Electrical Engineering, escorted by Professor Edward Smith. Dr. Mostafa Hassanian, PhD in Engineering Science and Mechanics, escorted by Professor Clifford Jesse Lissenden. Dr. Peng Zhao, PhD in Engineering Science and Mechanics, escorted by Professor Clifford Jesse Lissenden. Dr. David Frederick Pepley, PhD in Mechanical Engineering, escorted by Professor Scarlett Ray Miller. Dr. Eric Austin Lang, PhD in Mechanical Engineering, escorted by Professor Stephen P. Lynch. Dr. Paulo Lucina Crepel Paes, PhD in Mechanical Engineering, escorted by Professor Karen Thole. Dr. Jacob Charles Snyder, PhD in Mechanical Engineering, escorted by Professor Karen Ann Thole. Dr. Elnaz Kermani, PhD in Civil Engineering, escorted by Professor Tong Kyu. Dr. Beynood Kermani, PhD in Civil Engineering, escorted by Professor Shelley Stoffel and Professor Ming Zhao. Dr. Tiffany Angelica Zealous, PhD in Civil Engineering, escorted by Professor Farshad Rajabipur Professor Shelley Marie Stoffels. Dr. Kristen Kursavage, PhD in Civil Engineering, escorted by Professor Eric T. Donnell. Dr. Ling Li, PhD in Civil Engineering, escorted by Professor Eric T. Donnell. Dr. Yenggao Yu, PhD in Civil Engineering, escorted by Professor Vikash Varun Gaya. Dr. Yung-Chen Zhu, PhD in Civil Engineering, escorted by Professor Jiaofeng Liu. Dr. Richard John Titus, PhD in Industrial Engineering, escorted by Professor Arunchalam Ravindran. Dr. Yu Ji, PhD in Industrial Engineering with dual title in Operations Research, escorted by Professor Janice Terpenny. Dr. Timothy Brubaker, PhD in Electrical Engineering, escorted by Professor Sven G. Billen. Dr. Chiang Liu, PhD in Nuclear Engineering, escorted by Professor Asok Ray. Dr. Weng King Yao, PhD in Nuclear Engineering, escorted by Professor Justin Kyle Watson and Professor Asok Ray. Dr. Nan Sun, PhD in Mechanical Engineering, escorted by Professor Tak Sing Wong. Dr. Yi Long Li, PhD in Electrical Engineering, escorted by Professor Vishal Monga. Dr. Tiep Hu Vu, PhD in Electrical Engineering, escorted by Professor Vishal Monga. Dr. Nima Eliasi, PhD in Computer Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Anand Sivasubramaniam. Dr. Hongyang Zhang, PhD in Computer Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Kamesh Maduri. Dr. Jin Yong Kim, PhD in Mechanical Engineering, escorted by Professor Hossam Fatih. Dr. Partha Mishra, PhD in Mechanical Engineering, escorted by Professor Hossein Fatih. Dr. Faith Rose Beck, PhD in Mechanical Engineering, escorted by Professor Fan Bil B. Chung. Dr. Yi Jin, PhD in Nuclear Engineering, escorted by Professor Fang Bil B. Chung. Dr. Hui Yan Chao, PhD in Electrical Engineering, escorted by Professor Ram Moran Narayanan. Dr. Omar Saleh Obaid bin Jazer Al-Zabi, PhD in Electrical Engineering, escorted by Professor James Breakow. Dr. Ala Hamza J. Sabeh, PhD in Electrical Engineering, escorted by Professor Jerzy Ruzillo. Dr. Joel Haradi Bombile, PhD in Chemical Engineering, escorted by Professor Michael John Janik. Dr. Boya Jiong, PhD in Environmental Engineering, escorted by Professor Manish Kumar. Dr. Ju Hong Chao, PhD in Electrical Engineering, escorted by Professor Shichao Yin. Dr. Yu Swan Kuo, PhD in Computer Science and Engineering, escorted by Professor Daniel Kiffer. College of Youth, Health, and Human Development. Dr. Meng-Ya Cha, PhD in Human Development and Family Studies, escorted by Professor Gregory M. Fosco. Dr. Hiao Hua Mak, PhD in Human Development and Family Studies, escorted by Professor Gregory M. Fosco. Dr. Jacinda Chung Hui Lee, PhD in Human Development and Family Studies, escorted by Professor Jenny G. Knoll. Dr. Andrea Marie Stoop, PhD in Biobehavioral Health, escorted by Professor Jenny Knoll. Dr. Brianna Nicole Sprague, PhD in Human Development and Family Studies, escorted by Professor Leslie Ann Ross. Dr. Holly M. Kogler, PhD in Communication Sciences and Disorders with dual title in Language Science, escorted by Professor Carol Ann Miller. Dr. Jennifer Lynn Ford, PhD in Nutritional Sciences, escorted by Professor Michael Henry Green. Dr. Alyssa Tyndall, PhD in Nutritional Sciences with a dual title in Clinical and Translational Sciences, escorted by Professor Penny Margaret Chris Etherton. Dr. Jennifer A. Fleming, PhD in Nutritional Sciences, escorted by Professor Penny Margaret Chris Etherton. Dr. Emily Ann Southmaid, PhD in Kinesiology, escorted by Professor Ginger Gottschall. College of Information Sciences and Technology. Dr. John Gregory Hodgson, PhD in Information Sciences and Technology, escorted by Professor James Hogston. Dr. Boris Kandemir, PhD in Information Sciences and Technology, escorted by Professor James Z. Wong. Dr. Kong Liao, PhD in Information Sciences and Technology, escorted by Professor Anna Cinzia Suicciarini. Dr. William Robert Grace, PhD in Informatics, escorted by Professor Anna Cinzia Suicciarini. College of the Liberal Arts. Dr. Zaid Ismail Alwari, PhD in Anthropology, escorted by Professor Kenneth Hirth. Dr. Georgi Mekarishvili, PhD in Economics, escorted by Professor Cheryl Glenn. Dr. Roman Istomin, PhD in Economics, escorted by Professor Cheryl Glenn. Dr. Gregory Joshua Coles, PhD in English, escorted by Professor Cheryl Glenn. Dr. Lauren Jenna Golder, PhD in History, with dual title in Women's Studies, escorted by Professor Laurie D. Ginsberg. Dr. Seth Lawrence King, PhD in Applied Linguistics, escorted by Professor James Lantolf. Dr. Mathurin Lilas Tekakul, PhD in Applied Linguistics, escorted by Professor Robert Schrauf. Dr. Jennifer T. Legault, PhD in Neuroscience, escorted by Professor Ping Li. Dr. Chloe Callahan Flintoft, PhD in Psychology, escorted by Professor Bradley Paul Weibel. Dr. Tracy Lynn Clothier, PhD in Psychology, escorted by Professor Kenneth Levy. Dr. Elizabeth Ann Schuerk, PhD in Psychology, escorted by Professor Janae Marie Niederheiser. Dr. Susana Sanchez Quiros, PhD in Sociology with a dual title in Demography, escorted by Professor Jennifer Lynn Van Hook. Dr. Andrew Ronald Jones, PhD in French, escorted by Professor Monique Yvonne Yari. Dr. Chuyu Liu, PhD in Political Science, escorted by Professor Shun Chao. College of Nursing. Dr. Heather L. Clark, DNP in Nursing, escorted by Professor Sheridan Miyamoto. Dr. Mary Alice Nelson, DNP in Nursing, escorted by Professor Ying Ling Zhao. Dr. Pauline Huang, DNP in Nursing, escorted by Professor Nikki Hill and Dr. Barbara Burrell. Dr. Jennifer Scheinberg, DNP in Nursing, escorted by Professor Jacqueline Ann Mogul and Professor Barbara Burrell. Dr. Mary Beth Thier, DNP in Nursing, escorted by Dr. Madeline Matter. Eberly College of Science. Dr. William George Dush, PhD in Physics, escorted by Professor Eric W. Hudson. Dr. Andrew Scott Markham, PhD in Physics, escorted by Professor Kenneth O'Hara. Dr. Yi-Lun Zhang, PhD in Mathematics, escorted by Professor Alberto Bresson. Dr. Tuan Wang, PhD in Plant Biology, escorted by Professor Daniel J. Cosgrove. Dr. Joseph A. Keller, PhD in Ecology, escorted by Professor Catriona Shea. Dr. Charmaine LaRue Miller, PhD in Biology, escorted by Professor Victoria Braithwaite. Dr. Andrea Nicole Chan, PhD in Ecology, escorted by Professor Ileana Brigitta Baums. Dr. Cameron Philip Venable, escorted PhD in Biology, escorted by Professor Tracy Langkild. Dr. Lucila Martina Pizzo Suarez, PhD in Molecular Medicine, escorted by Professor Santhosh Girijan. Dr. Elena Haji Costa, PhD in Statistics, escorted by Professor Donald Richards. Dr. Christoph Marian Pavelek, PhD in Mathematics, escorted by Professor Robert Charles Vaughn. Dr. William John Barnes, PhD in Plant Biology, escorted by Professor Charles T. Anderson.
There are 3 more people.
Dr. Kevin Randall Quinlan, PhD in Statistics, escorted by Professor Dennis Kong-Jin Lin. Dr. Cheng Yu, PhD in Statistics, escorted by Professor Dennis Kong-Jin Lin.
Will the new Penn State doctoral graduates please rise? And let's applaud their achievements. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Barron, this concludes the conferring of graduate degrees.
Now I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Peggy Shipley to induct these new graduates into the Penn State Alumni Association. Dr. Shipley is an assistant professor of nursing at Bloomsburg University, where she teaches in the undergraduate and graduate nursing programs. Prior to her faculty appointment in Bloomsburg in 2016, she spent 5 years at Slippery Rock University in their RN and BSN program and school nurse certification. Dr. Shipley serves as a member of the Graduate School Alumni Society Board of Directors. Dr. Shipley.
Thank you, Dr. Barron, and congratulations to all the graduates today. The Penn State Alumni Association celebrates your successes and welcomes you into a proud network of Penn Staters. Your Alumni Association is powered by pride. More than 174,000 alumni and friends just like you keep their connection to our world-class university strong through their membership in the Penn State Alumni Association. Today, on behalf of the Alumni Association, I am honored to share our graduation gift to you, which is a 1-year free membership in the Penn State Alumni Association. Your membership keeps you in touch with Penn State and connects you with more than 300 geographically dispersed alumni chapters, interest groups, and college and campus societies. No matter where you live, what you studied, or what campus you attended, we have a group that can match your interests. After graduation, once you're settled, reach out to your local Penn State alumni chapter. Your Penn State family will be very happy to hear from you. And in the coming years, when you visit Penn State, we hope that you'll enjoy your time on campus and stop by the Hintz Family Alumni Center located here at University Park. With that said, we would like to ask all our new graduates to please rise. Would all other Penn State alumni that are visiting here today also rise? It gives me great pleasure to induct all graduating students of the Pennsylvania State University into the Penn State Alumni Association. Congratulations. You can be seated.
Thank you, Dr. Shipley. Before we conclude our ceremony, there are some groups that deserve special recognition. Parents, grandparents, spouses, children, other family members, and friends have all contributed towards the achievements being celebrated here today. Would family members and friends of the graduate students please rise and remain standing for a few minutes? Your sacrifice, understanding, support, and caring have helped the graduates to attain their educational goals. This encouragement is very important and not always easy when you have to share the stresses and strains of a graduate program. It takes a special commitment. I know that you also have worked hard for this day. I want to ask the graduates now to stand, to look for your family members and friends, and join me in thanking them for all they've done to support your success at Penn State. Thank you, and you may be seated. At the heart of every great university is its faculty and the staff members who support them. I wish to ask all faculty and staff members in our audience to stand and be recognized. Thank you so much for your contribution to Penn State. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude our ceremony. We shall close with the alma mater led by Ms. Harmon. The words can be found in the front of your program. Please rise and join in the singing of the Penn State alma mater, and then you may be seated while master's and doctoral recipients and the platform party recess. The university marshals will direct the recessional.
Raise